Whenever we think of the master of storytelling, the one name that comes to our mind is that of Satyajit Ray, popularly known as Manikda, one of India's finest filmmakers. And today with us we have a very special guest, the person who has been a part of his films, Shabana Azmi ji. The British Film Institute is broadcasting 38 of his films once again on the big screen for you to relive the magic. Go ahead and book the tickets and watch the films that have created the magic around the world through the vision of the legendary filmmaker as his legacy continues. Celebrating Satyajit Ray in this conversation with Shabana Azmi ji.
Hi, when you look back to the filmography, you might have worked with so many directors. So, how was it different to work with Satyajit Ray?
Well, I don't have too much experience of it because I just did literally 3 scenes in the film. So it was not like I did a full-blooded character. I got to spend lots of time. But even in the little uh, time, I felt that he had different ways with different actors. And I noticed that he gave Farooq Sheikh and Saeed Jafri and me a lot of freedom. Now, whether that was because the language is ours, I don't know, but it was something that he left a lot of it to us. But when it came to Sanjeev Kumar, he directed him matlab, to the minutest detail. Like he would say, raise your hand from your chest exactly this distance. And I realized that he was doing that because he was in silhouette and the camera would lose him if if he didn't keep his hand at a particular place like that. But I've spoken about how fascinating it was for me to work with Ray because after I did the first rehearsal, he said very good, and then he broke it up for me and he said, it's all coming out as just outrage. What if we were to break it up to hurt, anger, humiliation, and that to me was the magic words because it was a pretty long shot. So that I found very helpful.
Very true. That was really magical. And Satyajit Ray, those films were like a window to the world. And the films being showcased again in UK. How do you think is that an opportunity for the coming generation to look upon the filmmaker as?
I think Sangeeta has curated the entire series. She should talk about it. But I think, my God, to get like this, when you can watch all of his work together, is an opportunity nobody who's interested in cinema should miss.
And you have always said that you would love to do, if you had got a chance, you would do any character of his film. But like, what would be that one character that you would have chosen from his filmography after observing the roles that you would have loved to pursue?
Every single character, not just one. I'm a very greedy actor. Every single part.
And we have heard that Manikda used to give a lot of importance to the costumes and the character's depth. So how would you, if you could enlighten us a bit about that?
Well, I've talked about it, but what had happened is that when I went to meet him on this, when I went for the shooting and I was at the studio, he was standing outside and he gave me a sort of handshake and then said, well, get into your costume and we'll talk then, which I found very strange because I would have imagined that he would, I'm working with a great Ray and he's going to come and talk to me about what he wanted from me for the scene. And then when I wore the costume, I had to sit in a particular posture. I had to hold myself in a particular way because I'd gone in jeans and I'd sort of really casual. And then he came into the room and he said, see, now your posture is right. And now you will have a proper frame of mind to hear what I have to say. Because you just come in your jeans and t-shirt. And that was an urban girl. And it would have been, I think it's easier that I talk about it after you done the costume, which to me was fantastic.
True, and the book that he had taken it from what Premchandji had written. He had changed a little bit of the ending, and he had utilized his creative freedom. And how do you think that it justifies? It is really hard for a director to go and change a bit of the ending in the movie and still be as much relevant to the audience. How do you feel?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And he was criticized a great deal for it, but he stuck to his conviction. And I think that it is important that he did that, because then he owned that story. It was not just somebody else's story. And although people have problems with it, I think a filmmaker should absolutely have the freedom to add something to the story.
Absolutely. With all those stories and with the vivid charm that he added, I hope this festival is a huge success and all people can learn a lot from it. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.